Tuscany, one of the most beautiful regions in Italy, and somehow in 2026 you can still buy homes here for under $100,000. Today we're looking at 7 of the best properties currently for sale across Tuscany and its border regions. No abandoned ruins, no impossible fixer-uppers. These are real homes with character, views, and locations that make this budget feel almost unreal. The final 2 properties on this list completely changed what I thought under $100,000 could actually get you in Italy right now. From hill towns to mountain villages and classic stone homes, here are the 7 best properties for sale in Tuscany under $100,000 in 2026. Let's get into it. 70,000 euros, roughly 82,000 US dollars, opens this list in one of the most storied corners of the entire country. Siena province carries that unmistakable weight of medieval history, hill towns rising out of golden wheat fields, cypress-lined roads cutting through the landscape, and that warm ochre light photographers travel from across the world to capture. Sinalunga sits in the southeastern stretch of the province, close to the Val di Chiana, with fast road connections to Siena, Arezzo, and the A1 motorway tying the whole region together. The apartment itself spreads across 2 floors and carries architectural character no new build can replicate at any price point. Vaulted ceilings with exposed brick give every room a warmth and depth that photographs genuinely undersell. Downstairs, a bright and spacious living room anchors the ground floor with a functional kitchen adjacent and a bathroom on the same level for practical daily use. And upstairs, 2 proper bedrooms offer genuine privacy, with a second bathroom completing the sleeping level in a layout that actually works for a couple, family, or a rental setup. What the listing calls well-distributed spaces means you're not contorting furniture around awkward corners. The rooms have logic to them. Here's the thing about Sinalunga though. Local shops, restaurants, and schools all sit within walking distance, with road connections to the major Tuscan cities keeping you from feeling stranded somewhere beautiful but impractical. 70,000 euros puts you inside the historic center, not on the edge of town looking in, but woven into the actual fabric of it. That's a real life in Siena province, and it's the cheapest entry point on this entire list. The next property shifts the picture entirely, trading city walls for something considerably greener. 75,000 euros, working out to around 88,000 US dollars, and the setting couldn't be more different from what came before. The Pistoia hills arc across the northern edge of Tuscany, rising above the city of Pistoia into chestnut forests, quiet farming roads, and a pace of life with nothing to do with tourism. And because most people drive straight through on the way to Florence without glancing up, property values here still make sense. The apartment in Cireglio spans approximately 90 square meters, or around 969 square feet, which is already a meaningful size jump over the first property, and the layout earns every bit of it. Downstairs, a welcoming living area opens alongside a kitchen with an actual fireplace. In an Italian countryside home, a kitchen fireplace isn't decoration. On a winter evening when the hills go quiet and the temperature drops, it becomes the entire reason you're there. Upstairs, 2 bright bedrooms and a bathroom lead out to a small terrace where the listing promises fresh morning air and countryside views stretching out in every direction. Outside, a private garden belongs entirely to you. Space to eat dinner in the evening light, grow something, let a dog run, or simply watch the hills do their thing. And a double garage with additional parking rounds. Out a package that in a hillside Italian village isn't something you take for granted. None of that comes with a trade-off if what you actually want is quiet, greenery, and space. A garden, a garage, a fireplace, a terrace. 90 square meters for under $90,000. Number 3 brings us back into town, takes things to the top floor, and adds something to the checklist that neither of these first 2 properties can offer. Before we get to number 3, a quick picture of what daily life in Tuscany actually looks like. Most of the region collects around 300 days of sunshine per year. Summers run warm and dry, and winters stay mild in the lower valleys, while the hills get cooler and crisper. Florence, or Pisa by train, sits under 2 hours from most of these locations, which means city life remains fully within reach. You're simply choosing not to be in it every day. Pisa Airport carries solid European route coverage, and the lifestyle numbers for expats, retirees, and remote workers consistently tilt in Tuscany's favor. Now number 3, 77,000 euros, or roughly 90,000 US dollars, and this one lands in Santa Croce Salerno, a compact and practical town sitting in the lower Arno Valley between Pisa and Florence, on the main road connecting them. Locally, the town carries a reputation for its leather industry, but for buyers what actually matters is the infrastructure. Solid transport link, real everyday shops and services, and none of the tourist premium inflating prices, and the prettier postcard towns nearby. A top floor apartment in a small building of just 6 units. And that top floor position earns its place in the listing, because sitting above everyone else genuinely delivers added privacy and a quieter daily atmosphere. 65 square meters, around 700 square feet, makes this one more compact than Cireglio. but the layout works intelligently. Open plan living and kitchen flow together in a way that reads as both functional and genuinely inviting, with large windows drawing natural light through the space and creating that airy, sunlit quality. Tuscany delivers better than almost anywhere. 2 bedrooms, one currently running as a study for anyone needing a proper workspace or a flexible guest room, and a modern shower bathroom complete the interior. Here's where this apartment starts separating itself from everything else at this price. Air conditioning for both heating and cooling, independent methane heating with radiators, glass and wood window frames, a security door, a centralized TV system, and a terrace. Move-in ready and maintained in excellent condition. And in Italy, that phrase carries real weight because it tells you someone has been caring for this place, rather than hoping you won't notice the neglect. 77,000 euros for a top-floor, light-filled, climate-controlled apartment in a working Italian town center, with no renovation queue waiting on the other side of the front door. Arrive in August or January and you're comfortable from the first hour. The leader on this list, up to this point, belonged to that stone house. Number 4 takes it. 80,000 euros, roughly 94,000 US dollars. And for the first time on this list, we're not talking about an apartment. Massa Carrara is a province most people connect to a single image. The famous marble quarries above Carrara, the ones that supplied Michelangelo and have run continuously for over 2,000 years. Step back from the quarries though, and what opens up is a province full of mountain stone villages, medieval hill towns, and dramatic valley landscapes that tourism never really found. A terraced house, a multi-floor, proper home in one of those stone villages sitting at approximately 495 meters above sea level with panoramic views across the valley that earned the word at nearly 500 meters of elevation, not as marketing language for a sliver of sky between 2 buildings. 115 square meters, over 1,200 square feet, dwarfs everything above it on this list. Entrance hall, living room, kitchen with dining area, and a bathroom on the ground floor. Then upstairs 4 bedrooms, 2 of them opening directly onto terrace access, and a second bathroom with a bathtub, a courtyard, balcony spaces, a basement for storage or additional use, central natural gas heating throughout, and parking nearby round out a package that, in Chianti or Umbria, would be considerably further out of reach. 4 kilometers from the medieval town of Fivizzano means markets, services, and full Tuscan town life sit a short drive away. For a family, for a couple that needs room to actually breathe, or for anyone who has ever pictured a stone house on a proper hillside with valley views rolling out below, this property delivers all of it at once for 80,000 euros. That's under $94,000. The next property does something different entirely, and what's already been done to it before it even reached the market is exactly the kind of thing most buyers hope to find and almost never do. A quick word on Lunigiana before we get there. Tucked into the northernmost sliver of Tuscany, this narrow mountain valley carved by the Megra River borders, Liguria to the north, and Emilia-Romagna to the east. And most international buyers genuinely haven't landed here yet. The mountains press in close. The villages run ancient and unpolished. Cinque Terre sits roughly 40 minutes away. The marble towns of Carrara stay within easy reach, and the whole area carries an unfiltered quality that people who care about authenticity respond to immediately. Nobody curated this place for tourists. That's exactly the point. 85,000 euros, or approximately 100,000 US dollars. And here's what separates this property from every single one covered so far. A brand new roof and a fully renovated facade, described in the listing as recently completed. Stone house in a characteristic hamlet within the Cassola, in Lunigiana municipality, sitting in the heart of authentic Lunigiana, and the most expensive, most critical structural work that would normally land on a buyer's plate as an immediate 5-figure problem has already been absorbed into the asking price. The bones are sound before you ever walk through the door. Spread across 3 levels, the ground floor holds 2 cellar rooms and a tavern-style room suited for storage, a workshop, or a wine room, while the first floor carries an entrance hall, living room, and kitchen, and the second floor runs a hallway into a master bedroom, a single bedroom, a bathroom, and a balcony. A note of honesty here. Specific interior finishes and utility details don't appear fully in the listing, so verify current condition with the agent and review the full documentation before committing. None of that changes the headline though. Brand new roof, renovated facade, 3-level stone house in Lunigiana, the structural work that typically costs buyers tens of thousands extra and months of coordination has already been handled, and 85,000 euros is the price. on the other side of it. That is what no major renovations actually looks like when it's real. Number 6 is the one that stopped me mid-scroll the first time I found it. 90,000 euros, or around 106,000 US dollars. And this time we leave northern Tuscany entirely for the Maremma, the wild coastal, southern flank of the region, where rolling hills covered in scrubland give way to thermal springs, Etruscan ruins, and a slower, earthier version of Tuscan life that shares nothing with the polished tourist trail. Monteverdi Maritimo sits inland in the Pisan Hills section of the Maremma, elevated and quiet, and the specific village of Caneto delivers something none of the previous 5 properties could offer. A fully detached, standalone home with 4 of its own walls, no shared stairwell, no neighbors on either side. Inside, roughly 62 square meters, around 667 square feet, opened into a single living room and kitchen, with the sleeping area separated from the living space by a traditional terracotta arch that the listing highlights as the defining detail of the room, and rightly so. That arch isn't decoration. It carries the identity of the space, and replicating it in a renovation would cost thousands and still feel like a copy. Exposed wooden beams run overhead. Natural stone covers the walls throughout, and a wood-burning stove handles the winter, the way Tuscany always has. Here's the detail that lifts the whole property above everything else on this list at this price. A separate basement tavern with a fireplace and its own independent street access, a completely separate space that guests or family can enter without passing through the main home, usable as a second sitting room, a studio, a workspace, or a rental unit, depending on what your life requires. Fully renovated in 2007 and carefully maintained since, this property doesn't carry deferred maintenance dressed up as charm. Someone has been proud of this home for nearly 20 years, and it shows. 90,000 euros for a fully detached stone house, a basement tavern with fireplace and independent access, rolling Tuscan countryside views, and 0 shared walls. For remote workers, for a quiet retirement, for short-term rental potential, this one carries the strongest standalone character on the list. Number 7 still sits ahead of it, and it closes the gap between everything above it and something that honestly should cost considerably more than it does. 100,000 euros, or about 117,000 US dollars, the top of the list. And what that price delivers here makes you read the listing twice just to confirm you haven't missed something. Back in Fivizzano in Massa Carrara, the same province as Property 4, but this time positioned in the heart of the town center, rather than on a hillside above it, which completely changes the texture of daily life. A 3rd-floor apartment running approximately 100 square meters, just over 1,076 square feet, already qualifies as generous, but the number that stops everything is this: 3 private terraces connected to this single apartment, all yours, not one. The living room opens onto one, the kitchen opens onto another, and a third extends beyond those 2, which means for 8 months of the year, you are outside eating, drinking, and watching the town move below you. The layout spans the 3rd and 4th floors of the building, with main living areas on the 3rd level and attic-level bedrooms above that give the sleeping spaces a private, considered quality. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, central natural gas heating throughout, and a garage included in the sale. And in a town center, that garage matters more than it might look on paper. Restaurants, cafes, bakeries, shops, banks, a supermarket, a pharmacy, and the local hospital all sit within walking distance, covering the full picture of practical daily life without a car. For a family relocating permanently, this property offers the most practical and spatially generous package on the entire list. For anyone thinking about investment, a central location, 100 square meter, garage included apartment in Tuscany with 3 outdoor spaces and 3 bedrooms makes a genuinely strong case. 100,000 euros, and what it returns is not a compromise or a studio with potential. It's 3 terraces, a garage, a town center address, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and over 1,000 square feet of actual life in Tuscany. That's where this list ends. Here's how the full list breaks down. Sinalunga at 70,000 euros takes the lowest entry point with historic center character, exposed brick, vaulted ceilings, and walkable Siena province for less than any other property here. Sereglio at 75,000 euros, wins on countryside lifestyle, delivering a fireplace, a private garden, a garage, and 90 square meters in the Pistoia Hills. Santa Croce, at 77,000 euros, covers the move-in ready town living category. Air conditioning, excellent condition, no work queue waiting on the other side of the front door. The Stone Village terraced home at 80,000 euros takes maximum space and genuine family house territory with 4 bedrooms, 115 square meters, a courtyard, and panoramic valley views that earned every cent of that price. At 85,000 euros, the Lunigiana stone house delivers structural peace of mind in an authentic setting with a brand new roof and renovated facade already absorbed before you arrive. Monteverdi Maritimo at 90,000 euros stands alone, literally with 4 of its own walls, rolling Tuscan views, and that basement tavern with independent street access that no other property on this list comes close to matching. And at 100,000 euros, the Fivizzano apartment closes things out as the strongest all-around package for space, outdoor living, and town center practicality. 3 terraces, a garage, 100 square meters, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. All 7 properties appear in their listings as solid, livable, and requiring no major renovation work. Prices reflect the moment of selection, and listings at this level move quickly. So if any one of these caught your attention, reach out to the listing agent directly to verify availability and review the full documentation. Now, the comment section question: which one do you actually pick? The 3 terrace town apartment, the standalone stone home in the Maremma with the basement tavern, or something lower down the ladder? Drop your number and tell me why. Subscribe now as well, because the next region we're covering carries lower entry prices and even more sun than Tuscany.